Welcome back to Sunday Vibes, one and all. We are back in the pub. It's me, it's Chris, and it's Henry Hill back for his second appearance on
AKA
Sunday Vibes.
Julian Nagelsmann.
I know, match worn Julian Nagelsmann shirt. Where have you got that from?
True say. Just a thrift shop. You know me.
No, you haven't. Where have you got that from? Classic Football
No, I
Shirts?
did. I got it in a thrift shop.
What,
somewhere.
in Germany?
No, in Brixton, actually.
Oh, there's no way.
It's
there is
100% true. And it's definitely his as well. I don't know, it's like Jumanji. It's just sort of ended up with me somehow.
Yeah,
But,
there's absolutely no way that a match worn Julian Nagelsmann shirt is in Brixton.
Listen.
Oxfam. Surely.
People on Continental Club know the truth. This has been doing the rounds for a while.
How are you, though? Forget your
I'm
Julian
good.
Nagelsmann nonsense.
Good. It's nice to be here. Nice to be back. My second Sunday Vibes. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm on the mend.
Slightly better than last week.
I was ill on last week's Sunday
Yeah.
Vibes. I was really ill during the week, and now I am slightly getting better. I'm functional. How are you?
What percentage are you?
68.
Okay, we'll take that. 68. I'm okay. Last night was the Sky Sports News Christmas party. Wow. So feeling a little bit worse for wear. Haven't done a lot of research. In fact, my laptop is down here. If you see me looking off camera, that is exactly why. I'm going to be reading it verbatim.
I respect it. Did you enjoy last night?
I did. I like the fact we've all turned up in black jeans, black tops, and sort of...
It's winter, isn't it?
I think it's setting the mood.
What do you want to say?
Representative of
Hawaiian
our
shirts.
mood,
It's winter.
yeah.
It's minus bloody 7 outside in the UK right now. Let's crack on though, because today we are doing the Sunday Vibes Alternative World Cup Awards. Obviously, plenty of people have done best player, best youngster, etc., haven't they, at this stage? So we went into the Discord, asked the Discord to come up with some categories for us to answer. If you're not a member of the Discord as well, get in the link in the description below, because we often take questions, etc., from there, don't we?
We do.
Should we just crack on with the first category?
Yeah.
I think we should. The player who was robbed of minutes.
Yeah, I thought we could spend a fair bit of time on this as well, because this caused the most debate, let's say, on my timeline. A lot of suggestions.
Yeah.
And I'll just run off the first three then, just to get us going. We had Matoma, Rashford, and James Maddison.
Oh.
So before we tackle the rest of the list, what do we make of that?
Don't agree with Rashford or Maddison.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Maddison's, after all the kind of uproar about whether or not he'd go or not, I don't think it really mattered too much. Matoma, though, I do think is quite an interesting player. He's obviously, last season was with Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium. He had an amazing season.
Go on, Henners.
I slightly panicked there for a second leading into that. But yeah, kind of an unknown guy bought by Brighton from a Japanese club, was there on loan, absolutely crushed it. And then this season, we've seen him work his way into the Brighton sides, a little bit under Potter, but under De Zerbi, he's become a big fixture. Had a great few games leading up to the World Cup, and suddenly he's boosted his way into the Japanese squad. And yeah, I thought in the minutes he had, it was about 140 to World Cup. I thought he looked class, just always off the bench though. To be fair, Japan, I'm not going to criticise the manager. He made a lot of great decisions and got his team selections right most of the time. So, and they've got a lot of wingers as well for him to juggle. But yeah, Matoma, I think he was on such good form. It's a shame to not see him play more. He's the guy that actually did that kind of was it out, was it in cross for that goal against Spain. And I think he was running at 0.83 expected assists per 90 throughout the tournament. So it really shows he was there creating, and it's just a shame. It'd have been nice to see him play a little bit more.
Yeah, 0 starts, but 4 appearances off the bench. I think it was roughly 163 minutes in the end, and got that one controversial assist. But I think other than his underlying numbers, just the problems he caused the fullbacks when he came on, pretty startling, wasn't it? His speed, his agility, it just makes him such a deadly weapon off the bench. But Japan had a couple of them, didn't they? Ritsu Doan as well. I'm sure we'll get onto that. I think best substitutes a category, so maybe we won't talk about that right now. But I think Matoma's a great shout. When it comes to Rashford, I was a little bit disappointed he didn't get more minutes, admittedly. But I mean, he did make 4 appearances in total. Only one of those was a start. I was disappointed for him that he only got 5 minutes against France. 3 goals, great return. Obviously scored against Iran, and then scored a brace in his only start, which was against Wales, wasn't it? But he's 25 now, so this should have been his World Cup, or the World Cup where he makes the biggest impression, right? I think in my head, I just imagine him to always be 19. He's evergreen, isn't he, Marcus Rashford? And he's obviously playing extremely well for Manchester United now, so it doesn't feel like he's aged. But yeah, I wanted him.
I think with Rashford though,
to go toe to toe with Koundé is what I wanted, but Koundé's been extremely good.
I think for me, I think maybe the France game, you could have said an extra 15 minutes, but the issue he had was that, he was being played on the right by Southgate predominantly, rather than the left where he's played at Manchester United, and he's competing with Bukayo Saka out there, who, in my opinion, is one of the best right wingers in world football right now. Maybe one of the 3 best right wingers in world football right now. And simply put, Bukayo Saka had a better tournament than Marcus Rashford, even though Marcus Rashford was super effective and clinical in moments. His 2 goals against Wales were amazing. I still think Bukayo Saka, overall, what he brought to that England team offered more. And I think if he was to play off the left, I think Phil Foden, likewise, even against France, was pretty exceptional, especially in that second half. So I think for Rashford, unfortunately, as good as he has been at the World Cup and has been at this season, there's just slightly higher calibre of player in front of him in that position.
I think you're absolutely right. It's that 15-20 minutes extra that I'd like to have seen him play against France is my only sort of issue with Southgate, who actually rotated and managed that squad very well, didn't he, for the most part.
As far as Maddison, coming into the tournament, I would totally have agreed, but I think coming at the fact that he was injured for the first 2 games immediately.
Well, he didn't train with the first team. He trained by himself indoors, but he didn't train with the team for the first 10 days of the World Cup.
And that kills you.
And he only would have got minutes in the group stage, probably, in games that England have already managed. Right?
Exactly.
Rashford's reputation has not been hurt by the fact he's been a substitute in this whatsoever.
Positive.
He's come back. He's come back more elevated than he was before, and I think in that regard, you can't really blame Southgate.
No.
I think for me, the nailed-on shout for this 100% is Rafa Leao. I think Santos got that horribly wrong, and it's resulted now in him being sacked, hasn't it?
83 minutes is appalling for a player of his calibre.
That is genuinely a crime, given how effective he was in those 83 minutes as well, and how effective he has been across the
2 goals
course of the season.
Minutes,
for AC Milan. The fact that Cristiano Ronaldo got so many minutes and Rafa Leao pulled up with 83, I think is genuinely embarrassing.
He did feature in 5 games, but it was very much like the arse end of each.
83
fixture.
Divided by 5 is what
He looks so good as well when he's playing. All the things that we've been talking about at Milan this season, the power, the poise, some of the goals that he scored as well. It's criminal that he didn't get any more minutes.
And he just brought more balance to their forward line when he came on. I would love to have seen João Felix play down the centre a little bit more, him on the left. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes kind of had that roaming position on the right or in midfield, didn't he? But I suppose he did rotate in the end, and he opted for Gonzalo Ramos, and that paid off against Switzerland.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those things where I would like to have seen him get more minutes, but I can understand why he didn't get 3 starts. But chuck a start in there for him, at the very least.
Would you sign the new contract if you were Rafa Leao? Obviously, he's out of contract 2024, and he has the offer on the table from Milan.
I think he wants to stay there a little bit longer. I think he's still quite young in the world of football, and I think what Milan have been doing, obviously winning Serie A last season, I think they're building towards being more of a European force. It looks like Juventus are kind of on the way down into Milan. You're never quite sure what's going on with them financially. So I think this is a good time to be a Milan player. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed there a bit longer. But obviously, there's going to be lots of clubs that are going to be.
I can see why he's taking his time with the contract, because he is young, but he's not as young as some of his counterparts who have made a huge impression at this World Cup. He's 23, right? So he needs to get, and 23 as a winger, if you sign a 4-year deal, you're going to be seeing out your prime at that club more than likely. So obviously weighing up his options, has that fine kind of looming over him, doesn't he, from the whole Sporting CP fiasco. I think obviously it's been touted in the past that if he joins Chelsea will be willing to pay that fine for him, so a move to a cash-rich club in the Premier League does appeal. But I think he's enjoying being the man at AC Milan, and obviously has a great relationship with Maldini as well.
And there's a lot of clubs with a lot of very good left wingers. The left wing surplus right now in world football at top clubs. When you look at Madrid, Vinicius. You look at Barca, the options they've got there. Ansu Fati can't even get a game right now. And then you come to the Premier League. Every single top club is stacked in the left wing role.
Yeah. Mate, Jorge Mendes is his agent, so he's actually going to Wolves, lads. 2024. There we have it.
I know you think Leao, but I will just say I think Doku to only get 18 minutes in that aging Belgium side. We saw how busy he was when he came on. What was it, 2 dribbles, etc. I think Doku pushes him close. For Martinez to shoot himself in the foot a little bit with some of his squad selections, even Hazard getting as many minutes as he did this tournament despite barely featuring at all. I think it's criminal that he didn't, at least when it looked like it was going wrong, at least turn to the youth and say, right, you are the next generation anyway. You're going to have to dig Belgium up in the future. go out there and try and do it now, because quite clearly it wasn't working with the team that he was putting out.
I completely agree. Doku's probably my answer for this as well. 18 minutes is horrendous for a player with his potential. Doesn't get an awful lot of minutes for Rennes at club level,
he's
right?
not great.
Because I think Benjamin Bourigeaud has been playing on the right in a 4-4-2. But as an impact sub, he was great. Like Henry said, on for the 18 minutes, 2 dribbles completed, 1 foul. And Belgium were really struggling when it came to unlocking defences or progressing up the pitch in any meaningful way. And they had that weapon on their bench, and they chose to have
Hazard.
Carrasco, Torgan Hazard, or Eden Hazard at 10. They mixed it up from a 3-4-3 in the first game, where I think KDB and Hazard played as floating 8s, to a 4-2-3-1, which created more opportunity for Doku to start on that left-hand side where he normally plays. But opted for older heads, like Henry said, and it was really deflating not to see him come off the bench more often, because he could have been of great value to them in really close games, and most of the games were close, weren't they, when it came to Belgium? And scoring is something they struggled massively with. That would have helped, but
I think as well Belgium had that problem across the team. I would have taken every day of the week Wout Face at the back over half of the back line he was picking. I would have taken Amadou Onana for multiple minutes over some of the midfield selections.
He played in the second game, didn't he?
Yeah,
in the loss.
I just like the amount of trust that Roberto Martinez put in that past its side has cost him his job. It's a simple fact, and I can't believe he didn't at least trust some of the youngsters for minutes when things were not happening. It was just like, the old guard aren't working, bring on more of the old guard.
Yeah, I think that is the hardest job in football sometimes, though, that kind of, building the next team. So I'm kind of reluctant to be overly critical of Martinez in that regard. There is the temptation to be loyal must be very significant.
Deschamps has done it so effectively with France, been able to transition and blood youngsters.
I mean, but some of his main players have been forced out through injury, right? Pogba, Kante, who probably would have been the spine of this side had it not been for injury.
I don't think he would have been afraid.
I don't think Tchouaméni would have been a mainstay without Pogba and Kante being injured.
Just a quick side note: Martinez has been linked with the Spanish job.
Give it to him. Let's see that fail. Fantastic. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
There we go.
Next Euros is coming home, mate.
He's not picking not picking Pedri and Gavi. Which 34-year-old centre mids can he load into that team? Absolutely exceptional. Any other suggestions?
Yeah, there's loads.
Bruno G's down here.
Camavinga, Bruno G, Fulkrug.
Can we say Bruno G? Because I feel like the way that Tite was playing, he was not in the same role he played for Newcastle, which is obviously where he's at his best. And when he came on, I didn't think he was that effective in that role. I don't know. I kind of feel like the problem for Brazil wasn't the midfield. I think Casemiro is pretty bloody good in there.
I have a bit of sympathy for him because he only played 4-3-3 once. I think the rest of the tournament played 4-2-3-1. That kind of system suits him, doesn't it? Having a defensive midfielder next to him so he can be a bit more expansive. He obviously went for Paqueta. It was a shootout between those two, wasn't it? And he went for Paqueta. And Paqueta didn't have a bad tournament, so you can't say it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
But Fred got twice the amount of minutes he did, and that's where it maybe some Brazil fans feel it was a little bit problematic.
I think
his use of him.
Fred fits kind of that defensive system. If you think how many attacking players they had on the pitch, certainly in the forward line, I think the balance that Fred brings, you can't criticise any performance he ever puts in.
When he came on.
I think he's been all right.
And he plays as a bit more attacking, doesn't he, for Brazil?
I don't think Teach got much wrong in this competition. I mean, they just got undone by a pretty dismal.
They weren't great against Croatia. I feel like that was probably my biggest. They were probably my biggest disappointments in the tournament. Brazil.
Yeah, massively.
I know that Germany and Belgium crashed out of the groups, but I kind of expected them on some level, I think, to be fairly mediocre. Belgium in particular, whereas Brazil I had as favourites, winners, and against Croatia I thought they were so underwhelming, man. In a game that was so winnable for them.
It was just because I obviously love Brazil so much that I was so disappointed in them because I was really invested in a Brazil-Argentina final.
And when you see how easily Argentina took Croatia apart, I thought Brazil should be able to be taking this.
I just think that was legs in that Croatian team. They've had to dig pretty deep to get to that point.
Yeah, but even when they're 1-0 up, Brazil, the goal to concede in transition is so base. It's so poor. I don't know. For me, that was really disappointing. They had so many good moments, Brazil, of excitement. And we got you off your seat, and then it's just oh dear.
Well, I missed the first half against South Korea because I was making thumbnail for Euro
Yeah,
football.
that was good.
Nice. Should we move on to the next category, or is there anybody else you want to speak about before we do?
No, I mean, we had Aronson and Rayner down as well that we haven't covered, but Rayner almost got sent home from the US camp, didn't he? Brendan Aronson, I think 4 sub-appearances, only 105 minutes. Maybe a little bit disappointed not to see him on the pitch more, but Greg Barhalter got an awful lot right. I thought his approach was outstanding in the tournament. So,
given he was taking pelters from the US fans for being too negative, I actually thought he got a lot of his selections pretty much.
And Fulkrug, whoever sent in Fulkrug was lucky to be there, man. 2 goals, but still, come on.
Let's move on then to the next category, which is the wholesome moment.
Most wholesome
moment. Ennis?
Don't act all pensive. You've got an answer for this.
No, I do and I don't really. No, it was on Twitter. I saw it. It was a Be In Sports, a female reporter, talking about how it was basically like illuminating the spirit in the England camp. She said I think it's her parents or her grandparents are in a nursing home with dementia. I think it's her grandparents, and there's only a short window where she can talk to them on FaceTime, and she was doing it because they didn't believe that she was in Qatar working. So she went down to the pitch and she was filming and talking on the pitch, and Sterling apparently came over, realised what she was doing and who she was talking to, and he got Trippier to come over, and together they sat there and they talked to her grandparents over FaceTime, and apparently for the nursing staff. They then spoke to all like the nursing staff as well in the home, and apparently they were like buzzing, and it made everyone's days. And Sterling and Trips, they just sort of did it off their own initiative. They didn't.
It's nice. The England camp,
nice.
It's not just positive PR. Yeah. When you hear Jude Bellingham, a 19-year-old, be like, I'm so disappointed, not because we've lost, but because I don't know if I'm ever going to play feature in an England camp like this again.
Yeah.
You can see that the atmosphere.
But
there
I think
is,
he will. I think
the
tide has changed. I think in terms of that, there's definitely.
But no, mate, no Southgate, no Henderson for the next World Cup.
Don't tell me.
They're the pillars of this culture.
What he thinks, that's very good.
That is very good. I mean, we've got a few down here. The ref paying homage to Abubakar before he sent him off, being almost apologetic. I know, but it was nice, wasn't it? He did like a little
stupid rule.
We've got Hakimi and his mother.
That was nice.
That was really
nice.
strong.
A great narrative.
Yeah.
But I think the whole Morocco camp, wasn't it like they had the parents inside the camp, I think.
Yeah.
Was one of the left field things that they did.
And Bono, like on his exit with his daughter, was very good.
Great cheekbones on Bono, the keeper, by the way.
I think that was definitely one of my moments. Also, Dave the cat.
What are you on about?
Dave the cat.
No, I don't know about Dave the cat.
The England squad. Obviously, the England squad. There's plenty of stray cats in Qatar.
Yeah.
And one was in the England setup, and the England team started feeding it. Whatever.
They better have adopted it.
And they have taken it back to the FA, and now it lives at St George's Park.
That's fantastic. That is great news.
I've enjoyed, because obviously this World Cup's meant a lot to some teams that don't normally get that far. So obviously seeing how much it meant to Morocco, South Korea when they qualified, like seeing those celebrations on the pitch. And I know it's not like wholesome because they're Australian, but the scenes in Melbourne at 3 a.m. of them like setting off flares and going wild.
I'd say they're good scenes.
For a sport which is like their 5th biggest sport, I don't know. I've just enjoyed that element to it all, just how much people have gradually like got into it and exploded with it all. So,
yeah. I've got a couple more. I think obviously Alphonso Davies scoring Canada's first World Cup goal, like fantastic. Particularly given his story, which everyone is very familiar with at home now, that he was born in a refugee camp in Ghana when he was 5 because his parents were fleeing the Liberian civil war and born in a refugee camp, moved to Canada when he was 5. I think I might have said that anyway. Very hungover. And then for him to make his professional debut at 15 for Vancouver Whitecaps and then score their first goal at a World Cup. It is great, particularly as Canada. I think it was in 2012 they got beat 8-1 by Honduras. They were a laughing stock.
Good team.
And Herdman has done such a good job, and despite them not getting, favourable results, they outplayed Belgium massively in the first game, deserved a lot more from that. And you can kind of see what they're trying to do. They're trying to lay the foundations, create a blueprint to play positive, progressive, modern football moving forward. I just got it. When I was watching them, I was like, okay, you're not going to get the results, but you'll benefit in the long term from this approach.
Loads of their squads are under the age of 27 and 26.
Yeah.
Like they're primed for 4 years' time to go again. Even though a team,
the groups.
a team
Don't be cynical.
I reckon Hutchinson will come back. He'll make a big resurgence at 43 after waiting so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Canada.
That's a great story as well.
Canada will be just fine.
And the reporter on Messi.
No.
I mean, I watched it. I watched it once and I was like, I don't really get what the big deal is here. She's been very gracious. She's been very nice to him. And then I watched it slightly hungover, and I was welling up.
Let's go on to the next one. The player that was held back by his nation.
Not a Messi fan then.
Is this very, very similar, it feels, to the player who didn't get enough minutes, or are we putting a spin on it? The player that was held back by his nation.
I would say Musiala for this one. Just
Yeah,
because I
good
thought he was
answer.
outstanding in every game he played.
Good answer.
Completed 19 dribbles in 3 games. Only Mbappe has surpassed him at this point in the World Cup. He was putting Germany on his back by and large. I thought they were just rubbish, man.
Rodri, maybe.
Yeah,
Because he's played out of position. Like, it's just such a crime to play him centre back so you can play Busquets at DM. Like, it's not 2013. Get him out of that role.
I think the amount of pressure put on Musiala's shoulders in this tournament to produce a moment of magic was
crazy.
criminal, considering the players they had at disposal. And it's really shown, like, being an international manager is not... People like, obviously, Flick did an amazing job with Bayern Munich. You can't take away what he did, but he's gone into the Germany job and he's not really managed to blend a world-class selection of players together. And they have enough talent in each position to be a good international side, and he's not made it work. And for them to be lumping the pressure on Musiala, they got it horribly wrong. So I do feel sorry for him.
Yeah. Next one, biggest injustice.
Oh,
I'll go straight in. I don't think you can beat it. Like, I do think Boubacar getting sent off is silly, but I just think for Senegal to lose Mane on the eve of the tournament, the man who scored their winning penalty to win the AFCON, the man who scored the winning penalty to even get them into the tournament, Ballon d'Or runner-up, the face of this amazing Senegalese team. I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility that if he was there, they beat Netherlands, and they're the team taking on Argentina in the quarterfinal in the quarterfinal. I do think it's such a blow to Senegal, who did a great job to get to the last 16. I thought Ismail Assar once again showing that he's just not a championship player. He's quality.
But been saying that for bloody years, haven't we?
I'm just banging that drum all the time. But yeah, if Mane's in that squad, I think that Senegal side are doing great things. And it's for him, because he's quite old now. He's not another World Cup.
Yeah.
Another World Cup. Yeah, he may or may not be there. But it's so unfair. It's so unfortunate. So for me, that's the undisputed injustice.
I would say that...
Does that count? That feels like it's bordering on illegal to include him, because it's not actually at the World Cup.
During the World Cup. No, I get what you're saying. I think it's a great entry. Ghana not scoring another penalty against Uruguay.
It's own fault.
Proving there is no karma.
That's not an injustice. That's just poor technique. It was Jan, awful.
That's Asamoah at the first one.
Andre Ayew at this one.
Yeah,
Jan, yeah.
Equally shocking penalties on both counts.
Yeah, awful. But, that would have been a nice something to nip in the bud. What else have we got down here? Saiss coming off after 20 minutes in the semi-final.
I mean,
shouldn't have been playing at the start, should he? He had about 35 layers of wrapping on that hamstring.
But you want Morocco, who... obviously, the odds were stacked against them, for everything to go in their favour, and it didn't feel like that was happening in the build-up to this game, that people were dropping like flies, weren't they?
Yeah.
Unfortunate for him as well, that's probably the pinnacle of his career, apart from Hakimi, maybe most players in that team. And for it not to get a rub of the green beforehand, not great.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Canada not beating Belgium when they absolutely shredded them. Yeah. Alfonso misses the penalty, and then it just doesn't roll their way for multiple chances. I think the XG was like 2.5 to less than 1, wasn't it? And Belgium kind of scrubbing a win. That would just been like a really nice World Cup moment. Their first win. Big moment. Alfonso Davies winning the first big goal on their opening game of their first World Cup would have been great.
Yeah. But I think most people, after watching Belgium in that game, were like, oh, okay, our worst fears have been confirmed about Belgium. They're actually
crap.
Rubbish, yeah.
Okay, the next one we've got
Best
substitute.
sub.
Ooh. I'm going to go straight to the Japanese players here. I think the impact that they made. Ritsu, Doan, Asana as well. That goal against Germany where he sort of taken it over his shoulder, knocked it, beat Schlotterbeck and smashed it past Neuer. That was one of my favourite moments of the entire tournament. Yeah, the people they were able to bring on and impact the game, okay, against Croatia, kind of fell apart really. Looks a bit toothless towards the end. But yeah, I think those Japanese players have really put themselves up in lights. And Ritsu Doan, we were talking about him on Continental Club again yesterday. He's just... what a player. He's a great little pickup for Freiburg. 7 million euros this summer. He's his stats were very similar to Anthony in the Eredivisie last season, but yeah, he's cost like a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
And look at him now; he's worth sort of triple what Freiburg paid for him. He's his impact off the bench. What Japan's ability to smash teams in the space of 10 minutes was just wicked in this competition.
Yeah.
Ride momentum, and I think that's really fun.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go for Teo Hernandez.
What?
Yeah. Because
Well,
he wasn't going to be a starter. That was the best substitute tournament wise because he is better than Luca Hernandez and effectively has changed the entire tournament for France. If he was a starter from the start, I wouldn't be allowed to say
He's not been a substitute in most of the games.
He would have been. He would have been.
After one game, he was drafted in as a starter. What's he on about?
He would have been
Listen
a
to
sub.
the question.
He would have been a
What's
sub
he on
every
about?
game. He was originally a sub. So I'm saying the best substitute
This
because
cold messing
this
you
is
around.
basically a tournament-wide substitution that has saved France and has taken them to a final. Because if Luca Hernandez was there, I do not believe
Well,
they'd be in
is
a
Jordan
final.
Henderson? Is Jordan Henderson the best substitute then?
Very good shout. Jordan Henderson also very good shout. Game-changing
I think-
position. Sub.
Chris, help me out here.
He's trying to be far too clever. isn't he?
I think that's a legitimate shout because Teo Hernandez wasn't going to be a starter in this France
I'm
squad.
massively disappointed in you, and you'll be disappointed in yourself that you didn't say Weghorst.
Yes.
Nah, because I can't...
He is. Look at him. Look at the
Yes.
regret in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's 6'6".
If they'd have gone on to win that game, I would have had him 100% because even the free kick's his idea. Have you seen him do it at Wolfsburg 2010?
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it his idea.
Well, surely it must be. There's only one link there. It's 6-6. I have to
mean,
say.
they were they controlled possession a lot against Argentina. A lot of the build-up was fine.
No, that was glorious, man.
But until he came on, I think they'd only had 3-4 shots.
Stick two big blokes up front, Virgil up there as well, and whack it up there. Get amongst that.
I think Emi Martinez
Glorious.
makes an absolute meal of the header, but the second goal so inventive, and for Koopmeiners and him to try that with his team looking down,
Such
looking
a
into
shame
World
they
Cup
didn't win
abyss, takes huge balls, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that game was one of my favourites of the tournament. That's a proper battle. Like,
Yes.
just from the moment Paredes kicked the ball into the bench, I thought, here we go. Let's have
I bet you were off your sofa when you were 8 point.
Shades of Portugal.
I was off like Terrell
Netherlands.
Malacia. Malacia was like head down.
Me and you were covering that game, weren't we? And you were daily, and I was just, we wanted to go home, and it was like head in hands moment, like, no, Weghorst, what have you done? It was such a nice finish as well. I think there's a couple more entries that we need to cover. Morata was great. I mean, he was taken off early in the last defeat, wasn't he? Which I
Redemption.
did not agree with. And in terms of an individual substitute, like performance-wise, Marcus Thuram against Croatia. Yeah, that's correct, right? I thought he totally changed the game. When Mbappe went central, he went on the left-hand side. No, against Morocco, sorry.
Morocco, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking shit. Against Morocco. He kind of opened that game up for France, and that added bit of physicality and ability to kind of hold the ball up did change the dynamic in that fixture and kind of turn the tide in France's favour, yeah.
Next one, most saucy / skillful moments. Most skillful moment.
Most
I think
skillful
looking
moment.
at this,
I think it was probably Richarlison's overhead kick early
yeah.
doors first, when he flicks it up and then overhead kicks it in.
That's
that's an iconic
to
goal.
beat,
It's
yeah.
an iconic goal. That whole skill. We didn't look at the goal once. It was just all completely fluid. It was amazing. Although I did enjoy it. I know we've got sort of Mbappe nutmeg on Amrabat. The reverse. Amrabat just clattering Mbappe.
Yeah, that was
That was so
glorious,
good. That was a
But
proper.
The category's not best clatter.
Well,
mate.
I mean,
could
for me,
be
that
right.
is a skillful moment. Just to get away with that.
The tackle.
To take-
Best tackle,
take some-
Amrabat, or was it what's the
No,
guy's
Leyduni.
name?
No,
Leyduni
Leyduni's
on
the
Ericsson
best
when
one,
he.
yeah. That's when the World Cup started for me.
Yeah,
Leyduni against Denmark.
It has to be Richarlison's goal.
I would also say, the Chavez free kick's a little bit of a cheat answer, but he does that, I didn't know, just like on the regs at club level. Like, he is a sick free kick taker.
Yeah.
And the sort of power that went in with, and precision and pace, and from the distance he did it from, like, in terms of an individual bit of skill, that's right up there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Biggest coming home moment. Biggest it's coming home
You
moment.
should have an answer for this, mate.
I think it was probably when Mount got it in the back, to be honest with you. Because that felt like, here we go, second pen. It's big time on now. Like, I do think if we'd have scored that with the depth of our forward line, I think we'd have won in extra time. But it wasn't to be. Harry Kane obviously spursed it up and it wasn't happening. But I think when he pointed to the penalty spot for a second time, I thought,
You know,
something's happening there.
I mean, I had about 8 Guinness deep. I deleted about 4 tweets as well the next day because I was just like tweeting absolute nonsense on my timeline during the England-France game. But in my drunken stupor, I was still, when Harry Kane went to take the second penalty, I was like, no. I was like, we need another. It has to be someone else because it's so hard for one person to score 2 penalties in one fixture. Because do you go the same way? Hugo Lloris trains him at club level.
He's normally
that was a
solid.
mental mindfuck for him.
I would have Harry Kane over any penalty taker in world football.
No, but I think it just being the second penalty when he's already scored one changes the dynamic. I was clamouring for someone else to take it, but I don't think we have another exceptional penalty taker, do we?
Not that was on the pitch at that moment. I think like Rashford takes pens, doesn't he? But I don't think he obviously missed the Euro 2020, didn't he? But I'm not sure.
I know.
I would have had him every day of the week. I'd have had Kane every day of the week on that pen.
I'm not gonna lie. After we beat Iran 6-2, I mean that was just bizarre in itself. But then to see Iran lose to Wales 2-0, that really.
Iran beat Wales.
Iran beat Wales.
Iran beat Wales 2-0, and that whole like place explode. That for me was the real like, oh, this is a great. This World Cup's not too bad after all.
Next one, worst refereeing decision, and this is absolutely no doubt. This is Lahoz, Argentina, Netherlands. It's one of the worst refereeing displays I've ever seen in world football. The amount of cards, the heads on. He is a problem. He's a problem when he refs in the Champions League because he sprints to incidents, put your whistle out your mouth, walk over, because as soon as you do that, everybody gets agitated, and then it's just cards flying out like this. He had no control of the benches, which is another problem, by the way, in international football.
He's the continental Mike Dean, isn't he?
It's genuine. There's a problem in international football having 15 players on the bench, 8 members of staff, because whenever there's an incident, there's 25 blokes flying off the bench at the fourth official. It's a funny watch, but if you're not a good ref, you totally lose control. And Lahoz is not a good ref. He is every time I watch him, and that was one of the worst displays of refereeing I've ever watched.
I don't think the refereeing's been horrific this tournament.
He is so bad, mate.
Everyone moaning about the England loss to France. I don't think the refereeing decisions were that horrendous in that game. It's just clutching at straws.
There was a moment when they tried to flick it over Messi's head. Messi volleyed it away with his hand, and the ref went, "Oh, it's Messi. Don't give me yellow."
Romero got away with the same. I respect the fact he's not just flushing out red cards for fun, ruin the tempo of the match, but. Yeah, that is the worst refereeing.
I never prepare an answer for this sort because Tomlinson loves a terrible refereeing performance.
Yeah, man.
So I always leave it to you. But I will say, I mean, we disagree on this as well. The foul on Buffal / Hernandez in the Morocco-France game.
I thought it was a
for Buffal not to get that. Oh, we do agree on it then.
I thought it was a penalty.
Oh, have you reversed your decision?
No, I was.
I thought in the WhatsApp group.
In the WhatsApp group, I was getting it. They were saying it wasn't a pen.
It was more, a pen than a foul on than Hernandez.
Yeah, I think Hernandez loses control and then clatters him. If you're anywhere else on the pitch and you're in the motion of a sliding tackle and your follow-through leg clatters the bloke, it's always a yellow card.
And for Buffal to get the yellow is absolutely dumbfounded.
But the thing was, it was proper revisionism by Morocco because in the moment, none of them were like pen. And then after the game, it was like, disgrace, that wasn't a pen. Appeal, get in the ref to here. Like, need a bit of sound. So that's why they needed Bruno Fernandes to be like, ref.
Maybe.
I'm not sure about that one. Next one. Best fans. One answer for this, in my opinion.
Moroccans.
Argentinians.
No.
I don't know. There isn't one answer. Senegalese, Moroccans, Argentinians.
Argentina.
No.
I think the South Americans and the Africans have shown up. Well, the European fans at this tournament.
I'm not refuting
European fans haven't travelled, have they?
The Moroccan fans. Better than the Argentine fans.
Argentina have had about 95% of every stadium they've been in. The scenes in Argentina, every time there's a goal, it's like the whole city's shaking. 100% Argentina.
I think the fact that they finally feel connected with Lionel as well after, that's been a fractured relationship at times. So it's been really nice to see. And if he wins the World Cup and then retires, he would have bowed out in the complete opposite way to Cristiano Ronaldo, which is really satisfying. As well.
Yeah. Do you want Argentina to win the final?
Yeah. But France will win.
I want France to win the final.
You want France to win?
Yeah, I do. I want France to win the final.
What's wrong with you?
There's something about the anti-narrative that I really can buy into. Like I don't know what it is.
You go for the most antagonistic.
Yeah, there's something about that sort of it didn't happen for Messi. It was like drawing me in. I don't know
horrible
why.
bastard.
Yeah, it is a little bit horrible. But also the narrative of Mbappe winning 2 World Cups at 23 and scoring 250 goals by the time he's 23 is I
must admit, I think I maybe owe the Champs a bit of an apology after this tournament. But I will do insist. Before this, didn't let his players off the leash. They did play attritional, boring football. They've been conceding loads of shots this tournament. They've looked a little bit more porous. They've rode the luck at times, but they've been infinitely more entertaining at this World Cup. And people are saying they've kind of ground their way. Great track in the background. I need a heroes to the final. I actually don't think they have. some of the standout games for me have featured France.
Yeah.
And I first really started enjoying the World Cup with their second half performance against Australia.
The England-France game was the highest quality game in the competition.
Mate, even Tony Cruz was on Twitter wasn't he like, this is the best game?
And if Tony said
Yeah, and look at
Legend.
the use of Griezmann in a midfield three. Like, we never would have thought like Deschamps would have done that probably even a year ago.
Might have been a bit it's a little bit fortuitous, hasn't it? In that, like, he's had those key injuries. He might not have made these decisions without them. He's kind of been forced to make them. But I mean, we saw him, like, he rotated the whole team against Tunisia. Like, we've seen a good togetherness. He's obviously got, like, an extremely high emotional IQ. He obviously does that part of the game, like Southgate, really, really well.
That's the key for an international manager.
Historically, France have exploded at tournaments owing to, like, big personalities.
Yeah.
He's just done that very well, hasn't
I think
he?
that's the key to international management is man management, honestly, because you don't have enough time to work on tactical systems with these players. If you had like 8 months of infinite training time, like Pep Guardiola does, then you can work on tactical systems. But like, I don't think tactics are as important as man management. I think that's what Lionel Scaloni's done so well is he's been able to manage men and moments really well that help Lionel Messi.
Well, that's at the other end of the spectrum, isn't it? When you've got elite players who obviously are very tactically versatile, but then you look at like Canada and who else? Morocco, for example. They clearly worked extremely hard on shape, on like everything else.
What's interesting about Scaloni is when he took over the Argentine side, Messi wasn't. He'd sort of taken a sabbatical almost from the team, so he had to Scaloni had to mould that original team without Messi and had to prove to those guys, had to elevate them and tell them that we can do this as a team. And then once Messi came back into it, it was then about getting everyone to buy into the idea that if you do your jobs perfectly and let Messi be that creator in the middle, we will be successful as a team. And it's obviously produced so many results. So Scaloni does...
I think this works well for the next question, which is manager of the tournament.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, people forget he was part of Sampaoli's setup as well.
Yeah.
It's like, to get Messi's buy-in again, like giving you a part of the last regime that failed, big. But yeah, manager...
Is it Scaloni or Deschamps?
I'll go Regragui.
Yeah, I think given that he took over in August, it's a legit shout. Like, the fact that he took over in August with the turmoil going on behind the scenes with Morocco, Hakim Ziyech refusing to play for the national team, multiple players refusing to play for the national team, him being able to get them to play, get them in a formation and a tactical setup that works so effectively. Because he's had no time to train.
It's Raghrougi, isn't it? Walid Raghrougi.
Yeah. Let's call him WR from now. Yeah. But he's had no time to work on this tactical setup and he's absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously been some stuff on Twitter like him attending those seminars that Mikel Arteta puts on, and that kind of brings that element of it to the forefront of your mind, and that's a bit of recency bias. Maybe that's why I've opted for him, because I was kind of impressed by all that. But I don't know, you actually see how press resistant they are and how everyone knows their roles and how fluid they are in the game. Like against France, I kept seeing Amrabat or Unai drop into a back three so they could push all the wing backs on, and you're like just watching them play in so many different ways in a 90 minutes. I'm just like, yeah, they don't have that like heritage. They don't have that, and they've just become a really modern outfit in a short space of time. That's why I think
he's got a lot of credentials coming into this. I mean, he's just won the African Champions League. I think he's won the Moroccan top division with 2 separate clubs now. I just want to shout out, I think the Japanese manager did a great job, Moriyasu. And also, I actually think the Australia manager, Graham Arnold, what he did with that team to get them through the group stages, to beat sort of Denmark and Tunisia, and then to actually run Argentina pretty close with the team of basically Scottish Premiership and Championship players that he had at his disposal.
What you can say, mate?
No, well, not even like top side Scottish players. I think
Jason Cummings.
That was amazing. I think I think, and he had a lot of stick. He was basically on a game by game basis coming into this due to how much he was sort of disregarded in the Australian media. So I think he's got a lot of pride he can take away. But I think it's Deschamps. I think what Deschamps has done, given all the injuries that France had coming into the tournament, given, as you said, their ability to implode at times, I think Deschamps has just created such a functional and pragmatic side that's able to get the job done. And we saw that again against Morocco, so absorb the pressure. He deserves so much credit.
It's a massive lose-lose for Zidane taking over, by the way. Like, you're coming in potentially onto a manager who's won back-to-back World Cups. You can't win. Like, I just don't see what happens whoever takes over.
Yeah, but then no reasonable person expects you to live up to those heights.
The French fans will be expecting big things. You can't go back-to-back World Cups and then go out of the quarterfinals.
As long as you have like a good showing in the next tournament. The expectation is not to win everything there all the time, is it? But and I also think like we spoke about legacy and building the next team, he's done that really well. Like he's created
so well.
Yeah, he's done a lot of favours for whoever comes in next. Right?
Yeah, totally agree. Let's go to the next one then. Breakout Star.
I mean, it's only can be the Morocco midfielder.
Unari.
I mean, great player. Really silky. I even liked El Yamik, the sort of centre half who came in at times and almost scored that bicycle kick. I think, to been basically unheard of a few seasons ago, be a bench option for Angers last season, come into the side this year. Amazing dribble numbers in Ligue 1 this campaign, but yeah, he's put himself on the map. I don't like to put too much pressure on players that have a great World Cup, and obviously he was playing with a lot of emotion, playing for his country, who are doing exceptionally well. But yeah, I just think him, like a lot of that Morocco team, are going to be remembered for a very long time. I mean, they've quite literally made history for their continent.
I think that's probably the best shot. I think Enzo Fernandez as well.
Oh, but he's
kind of already known as. It's not like he's
Enzo,
like an unknown like Unari.
Well, he's not too far from being an unknown. Like it's only like what 13 Portuguese top flight games.
I know, but he
under his
has
belt or
contributed massively in those 13, and he is still only 21. But it feels like okay, well, he's going to get a big move to Real Madrid or somewhere like that, isn't it? In the immediate future. Same with Gonçalo Ramos. I suppose you could take him as well. Couldn't you?
Yeah. The really impressive thing about Fernandez and about Inari is just their tactical versatility in games as well. When they need to be like Taus, midfielders that muddy up the game, they can do that. When they need to be the player that connects the midfield to attack, they can do that as well, and popping up on the edge of the box with shots and chance creation, like just like both Swiss Army knives, aren't they?
Yeah. Enzo Fernandez is going to cost a serious amount of money.
I'll say just
always
quickly,
leads to P, yeah.
Levakovic, he's put himself on the map, and it's apparently a few years ago Modric told him he wasn't working hard enough and he could be a better version of what he is. And
he's 32 now, isn't he? 31.
No, he's 27.
Is he?
27. He's not nearly as old.
I'm sure he's older than that because United tried to sign him in the summer, didn't they?
Levakovic,
the goalkeeper,
the Croatian goalkeeper, for €6 million. United had an option to sign him for €6 million and turned it down.
You're both looking towards me. I don't know.
Tell us how old he is.
Maybe I'm wrong, but United definitely tried to sign him in the summer.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he's been great. Like, fit that caliber of goalkeeper to be in the Croatian top flight.
Yeah.
You'd have thought he'd have flown the nest a long time ago.
Yeah, he's not going to be there.
Good answer.
Is he? What's the next category? Because my phone's just gone off.
What do we have? Most entertaining game. This is the penultimate category, by the way, and then best player at their last World Cup is the final one.
Where's Big House gone?
Big House.
We've missed
Thomas
it.
might
must
have
have
skipped
skipped it.
Yeah, Thomas
Biggest House. Yeah, my bad. It's obviously Paredes.
All right, so last three then. Let's do biggest House because you're clearly dying to talk about the Argentinians. Look at that grin on his face.
I enjoyed Cavani smashing up the VAR box.
Yeah, Lukaku did the same, didn't he?
That was the bench.
That was more emotional though. That was more like heartbreaking. Seeing Uruguay lose their marbles was fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
Luis Suarez.
But no, it's that Argentina, that iconic picture of them, celebrating after the penalty shootout. I mean, Emi Martinez is such a isn't he? I mean,
some people get so
really
precious about football, don't they? And this like English sense of nobility and being a good sportsman. We love to see it. It's entertaining.
Did you see England versus Colombia when John Stones? There's a photo of John Stones like in the face of the Colombians when they win the penalty shootout. It's a done thing when the game's really heated, isn't it?
I was in that game, and when they equalised in the dying moments, a Colombian fan came down the stadium and slapped me in the face. Do you know the worst
about that game was? It was literally like we were in Medellin. It was like 95% Colombians, and there was about 500 England fans just like, come on.
No, that
glorious scenes though, man.
To go back, that when Paredes boots the ball just unapologetically at the bench, and then Van Dijk comes in and just smashes
flatline.
But the great thing about that is he takes someone out, I forget who it is now, and then boots the ball at him. There's 2 yellow cards in that incident, but he knows he's not going to get 2 yellows.
And Lahoz is beeping away, honestly. It's like being in central London on rush hour. It's awful. That is definitely...
I mean, no one's going to beat the Argentinians for big asses. Yeah, Emi Martinez as well, after making 0 saves against the Netherlands in that game, in the corner, giving it all this in the penalty shootout.
When he's like, I you twice, you It's just like, oh my god.
A lot of bleeping for James in this episode. And then the next one was most entertaining game. I've got a couple of examples down. Portugal versus Switzerland, obviously the Gonzalo Ramos show, and Brazil versus South Korea, which you'll have to tell me all about because you and McCubs were over in the office, watching
Well,
it.
it was an entertaining 45 minutes, but that was more to do with naive South Korean tactics who really took it to them. I mean,
He went as well, didn't he,
people
Ben
moan
Thompson?
about teams that sit back against top sides. Well, South Korea showed how it can go horribly wrong in the other direction.
Yeah. I think the best. I don't even know it was game, but almost that moment was when Costa Rica went 2-1 up against Spain, and it was against Germany. It was like Spain and Germany are both going out. There was like an 8-minute period where it was like, oh my god, this is glorious times.
That 8 minutes is proper World Cup heritage.
That was proper
great,
World Cup heritage.
For me, Saudi Arabia, Argentina was super exciting. Just so much drama at the end involved, and just the unbelievable nature of it. I think that was great. But yeah, I agree with you. That whole nuts moment. I did really enjoy it in Ghana, Uruguay, when neither side knew what they really wanted to do and what result was good for them. So they basically just all played in attack. So there was no midfield for about a good 10 minutes, and it was just bouncing back and forwards, and then Uruguay kicked off. I really enjoyed that, but yeah.
Kudus could be our breakout star, but we have spoke about him an awful lot, haven't we? Just to go back to breakout star. And the last category was best player at their last World Cup, and we'll exclude Messi.
Sorry, best player at the World Cup.
At their last World Cup.
Maybe Modric.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think he's pretty silky.
I even think he was great against France.
Kyle Walker.
Giroud.
I don't think we'll see Kyle Walker at another World Cup, given the talent of English right back pool of Trent and Reece James. I'd be surprised if we see a 36-year-old Kyle Walker at 2026. I think he was pretty spot on. Kyle Walker, I don't think he got much wrong, even when we played against France. Thought he had Mbappe on lock.
Who did Croatia go out to again? France?
Croatia went out to Brazil.
Croatia went out to Brazil.
No, Argentina.
Argentina. What?
They're on the other side of the drill.
That's what I meant. He was even great against Argentina, not France. Christ almighty, this has been a struggle today. But yeah,
Modric and Kyle Walker.
I don't think he had a bad game. And for Modric to be like at 37 to still be the heartbeat of that side, like I know that it absolutely dumbfounds me how you can be a central midfielder, play at that level and be 37 and be the one that's like, apart from Brozovic, covering the most ground, making the most passes. All of his passes perfect every single time, a yard in front of the man, just like utter perfection playing out in front of us, and he's 37. I don't think a central midfielder has aged as gracefully as Modric, like ever.
Yeah,
I find it hard to articulate just how impressive he is.
I agree. Yeah, I think him and Kyle Walker. Any other shouts for you?
All this while looking a little bit like Ale Platt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Do we want to do any quick fire questions? It says thoughts on Chelsea picking up Datro Fofana.
Too hungover for that. We can do a little bit of background on him because he does look exciting. Like, he's only 19.
Armando though.
Yeah, injury. Yeah, I mean, won the Elite Syrian, didn't he, last season? Finished as Molde's top goal scorer. I think it was 18 goal contributions in only 19 starts and 24 appearances in total. And I read a really good article from Scattered Football on him. That was basically just like, listen, he's not like world class at anything yet. I mean, at 19, who is apart from like Mbappe? But he's great. He's got a great skill set, like a varied skill set, a wide skill set. He's quick. He's technically sound, and it's a smart pickup from Chelsea. And they're targeting a few interesting youngsters. Like they're going after Moukoko, which is massive. Yeah, but
I'm very interested though by this idea
Arsene
of
Zakarian.
Brighton Moneyball at Chelsea. I'm very intrigued by it because I just don't. Does Moneyball work when you're at that elite level?
I mean, shopping sensibly is never a bad idea. I mean,
No, it doesn't. I agree
we
with
hail Chelsea for their, over the last 10 years, for their ability as well to sell youngsters at a premium and use it to buy superstars as well. So it's part of like a business plan, isn't it? That I think only City and Chelsea are perfected the last, like I said, decade. I think it's smart. If you can get these sort of players for between 10 and 15, then
whether or
do
not,
it.
the Brighton recruitment model, because he was going to Brighton 2 months ago, and is now just going to Chelsea. So clearly, it's just been copy pasted in there.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued to see if that works at Chelsea, and whether the identification
This isn't
of
a
targets
novel
at Brighton's
concept.
level.
They've been doing this with their kind of loan system players for ages. I mean, what this guy to go from Molde to watch the Premier League? What's he meant to do? Try and help them score goals up front? He's not the answer. The solution to their issues. They've scored 17 goals this year. They've been outscored by like 13 teams in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That
won't be the expectation.
Broja's now injured. I think they should be focusing on other issues right now.
This is separate from the Broja injury, isn't it? They're not buying buying him to immediately like
No,
be
that'd
on
be
the bench
Cristiano's job.
in Brogier's place.
That'd be Cristiano.
I think they'll probably send him out to like the Jupiler Pro League.
Get him back to where he's come from.
There's definitely like stay at Mulder for another year, maybe, yeah. But there's definitely going to be an in-between period for him before he heads to the Premier League.
Can we talk about, while we're on to young strikers, Endrick, 72 mil at 16. This kid must be. I mean, I've never watched him play, but he must.
He is good. He's good. He's really good.
I've watched a lot of highlight reels on
Yeah.
YouTube, but that doesn't mean I've
he's
watched him.
Every time I watched him, all I come away from thinking is like so physical. He's like, for his size, he's like a bulldog. Like he looks like, reminds me of Adriano.
He's a unit. But yeah, Florentino Perez, like I tweeted out the other day, obviously took the whole Neymar to Barca move very, very personally, because what's that now? Rodrigo, Vinicius, Renier, Jesus, and now Endrick.
Does that just mean they're not going to sign Mbappe then?
Well, it's just normalised spending £72 million on 16-year-olds, which chaos for the rest of football.
Mbappe's contract runs to 2024, Endrick joins 2024, doesn't he? So does that mean they're just not going to go for Mbappe yet?
Don't know. Do we see that forward line as being the next big problem in European football? Endrick, Rodrigo, Vinicius. That's class, isn't it?
Well, they obviously their recruitment drive has gone to signing 23 and under. Across the last 3 seasons, there's only one club that signed an average age that's younger than Real Madrid, and it's Leipzig.
I think they looked for a while like they were going to put big money in on Jude Bellingham, but I think
They're definitely going to put big money in on Jude Bellingham.
It looks like if he goes to England now, and there's other players like Enzo Fernandez out there which they could probably move for instead. I don't think it's a bad idea to invest in a guy like Endrick, who, if that bangs, that's just an unbelievable signing, and they've probably got him under market rate.
Yeah, well, he's going
if he bangs,
under
massive,
market rate.
yeah.
Under market rate is.
Well, they've done pretty well in the last few signings.
Yeah, with Vinicius and Rodrigo, they didn't rush them into the first team either, did they?
Their sporting director's Brazilian, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why they've got such.
And Benzema, at what, 35, 34, 35, has got a couple years left in him, so there's not going to be, I mean, he can't play in Europe until he's 18 anyway, owing to FIFA regulations. So he's going to be at Palmeiras for another couple. I don't know what we're on about.
It'd be like, I can see Gvardiol going there as well, to be honest with you. I can see Gvardiol going there. I can see like Bellingham going there, and Endrick. Like, they've just got so much money in the bank, man. That 200 million they were going to drop on Mbappe last January still not been spent, is it? Unless I'm missing somebody that was bought in at extreme. Oh, Tchouameni, 100 mil, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's been. And like their old boys have played so well for so long that they've been able to, like, Camavinga's not been rushed in centre midfield. Tchouameni's obviously come to the fore a little bit more this season. Fede, will he play on the right? Will he drop back into midfield when like the youngsters want to play up front? Yeah, they've got a lot of options. Scary.
Yeah, very scary. All right, that's it. Wrap it up there for another episode of Sunday Vibes. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, send your comments on Discord, put your comments in the questions below. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. See you later. Au revoir.